Welcome to the electromagnetic theory and interference course. In this session, let us continue with the application of Ampere circuit law. Last class we saw about two applications like for infinite line current and infinite sheet of current, how to apply the Ampere circuit law and to find the magnetic field intensity. So what is Ampere circuit law? The closed line integral of magnetic field intensity is equal to current enclosed by that path, right? So let us see how we can apply the Ampere circuit law to find the magnetic field intensity for the infinitely long coaxial transmission line. If you take a coaxial transmission line, we know that it consists of an inner conductor and outer conductor separated by a dielectric, right? So the inner conductor radius is A, outer conductor inner radius is B, and its thickness is T. Okay, and here this coaxial transmission line, you can think of two concentric cylinders. Both the axes are along the Z. Okay, and this Z axis is coming out, so it is out of the page. That is outwards, and here we are seeing just a cross section of it, and we are going to determine the magnetic field everywhere, and the current is uniformly distributed in both the conductors. If you see the inner conductor carries a current I that is coming out of the axis, that is coming out of the page, whereas the outer conductor carries the return current minus I, which is flowing inwards. And we are going to consider 4 ampere end path, that is L1, L2, L3 and L4, and with this ampere end path we are going to define the 4 different regions, and we are going to apply the Ampere's law to all the 4 different regions and find the magnetic field intensity, right? So we already know closed line integral of magnetic field intensity is equal to current enclosed by that path. And how can I write the current enclosed? It is nothing but surface integral of current density, surface charge density, surface current density J dot ds, surface integral, right? Now let us find, since the current is uniformly distributed, we are going to consider this region. See, we are going to consider ampere path L1. So it is having the radius from this 0, from the center of the conductor to the inner conductor radius A, 0 to A. For that region, if you see, it is having a surface current only in this region. So I can write the current as surface integral of J dot ds. How can I find the surface current density? Is this current per unit area. What is the area of this portion? It's a circles, right? So it's a pi r square. So our radius is my A. So pi a square. How will I write the unit vector? It should be perpendicular to the surface, right? That is Z is actually coming out, right, axis. So it is along the AZ unit vector. Coming to the surface area ds, so we have to find what is J, what is ds, and we have to dot product, right? The ds is nothing but, since my unit vector is AZ, so the other two components of my cylindrical coordinates rho and phi comes here. For rho it is d rho, differential length component. For d psi it is rho d psi, right? So I am going to substitute in this current enclosed is equal to surface integral of J dot ds. That is going to be I divided by pi a square. Okay, AZ and dot with this AZ turns out to be 1. So I will get double integral, surface integral means it's double integral rho d phi d rho. Okay, for what is the limit of rho? It is 0 to rho only, because it's having the radius from 0 to A. But I can't consider complete A since my ampere and path is less than that. So 0 to rho. And phi we already know, it azimuth angle is 0 to 2 pi in cylindrical coordinate. So if I have this constant outside I by pi a square, integral of this d phi comes as phi. Applying the limit of phi 0 to 2 pi, I will get 2 pi. Okay, 2 pi is there, you think. Then integral of rho is rho square by 2. So the 2 pi and rho square by 2, the 2 and 2 in the numerator and denominator get cancelled, and I will get I rho square by a square. Okay, and what I am going to do, I am going to find now the left hand side. Right hand side I already computed just now. Now we are going to find the left hand side. my magnetic field intensity is now H phi only. The H rho. Now we have found the right hand side part, that is current enclosed we have found in terms of surface current density. Now we are left with this left hand side, that is line integral of H dot dl. My H vector in cylindrical coordinates is H rho into a rho cap plus H phi into a phi cap plus Hz into a z cap. Since my radius is constant, H rho term will not be coming into picture. Okay, the next term is psi. So only the psi term gets, that is phi term comes. H phi component only I will get. H phi into a phi cap. Why Hz into Az is not coming? Because current flow is in that direction, is the axis. We already saw, right? The current is flowing in the previous slide. If you see, the current is flowing, okay, along the z axis, or I can say my conductor is along the z axis, right? So only this term comes. For dl, what is the length here? If you see this closed path, it's a circle. So circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. So 2 pi rho is the radius that we have taken. So how can I have to equate whatever I found from this left hand side term H dot dl to the right hand side term J dot ds, and I have to find what is H phi. That is I rho divided, because one of the rho get cancelled. Okay, I rho divided by 2 pi comes down. 2 pi a square is my magnetic field intensity for the Ampere path L1. So let us now continue with the second Ampere path L2, which is enclosing this inner conductor. Okay, inner conductor. So what happens to my Ampere's law? Integral over the closed path L2 H dot dl. That line integral is equal to current enclosed, which is nothing but I current. Here, if I take the complete inner conductor, here surface current won't flow, the overall current I flows. So I can just repeat the same for this left hand side. H dot dl is similar to the previous. So if you see, it is H phi into 2 pi rho, same as before. My right hand side is I current only, because here the inner current carries current I. So H phi turns out to be I by 2 pi rho, which is same as that for the infinite line current that we saw already in the first application. Now let us take the third Ampere path L3. Okay, if I consider third Ampere path, what happens? So the region is from B. Okay, this B, it is enclosed, the third Ampere path, this dotted line here, it is enclosing from B to B plus T. Within that only it is there. So if I apply the Ampere's law, integral over the path L3, okay, line integral H dot dl is equal to same H phi into 2 pi rho, okay, that is equal to current enclosed, we know, the right hand side we know. But the current enclosed, see, already this is enclosing this Ampere path L3, it is enclosing the current I as well as the surface current across this conductor J dot ds, because it is in between that surface, right? And one more thing to note here is the surface current density is along the negative z axis, because it is not the same as inner conductor. So for the outer conductor, it is along minus. So only here the negative sign comes here. Okay, usually we will write current density as current per unit area. So area of the circle, right, pi a square. But here if you consider this area of this Ampere path L3, how should I write? It is B plus T the whole square. B plus T I have to consider, and I have to subtract the B square. Okay, pi a square only written in a different way. And it is followed by AZ. So AZ direction only, unit vector direction is negative. So if I substitute in this expression, so it's going to be I, for this component is minus I, this entire term, and I have to substitute the ds. Surface area is same as before, it is rho d phi only, that z component will not come. So but the limit, if you see for rho, it is from, see, starting is B, but ending I should not take B plus T, it should be rho only. Okay, and for the azimuth angle it is 0 to 2 pi. where I can simplify the denominator term. So it is in the form a plus b the whole square. So a square plus b square plus 2ab, and for this minus b square means these two get cancelled and I will get only t. So t square plus 2bt I am getting. And for the numerator, let us see. Here I have taken is constant outside. So 1 minus, how this rho square minus b square came? If you integral rho d rho, what is the answer? It is rho square by 2. And if you integral d phi separately, you will get 2 pi. So that 2 and rho square by 2, the denominator 2 get cancelled. I will get rho square only, but I have to apply the limit. Upper limit rho square minus lower limit b square. So rho square minus b square I will get, and divided by the term that we saw in the previous. So finally, how will I write the h phi? You take this expression, h phi into 2 phi rho is equal to this equation, that is I enclosed. So I can write h phi as this entire term, okay, divided by 2 pi rho. So here I is common, so I by 2 pi rho into this term. This is for the ampere part L3. Now we have to consider the final ampere part, that is L4, where my region is having the radius greater than b plus t. So it is greater than this. So if you go out of the two conductors, what current we have? Okay, it is enclosing two current. Okay, the line integral of this part h dot dl is equal to having inner conductor having current I, outer conductor is enclosing minus I. All the two are enclosed in this ampere part outer. So I will get 0 as answer. So all the 4 ampere part regions are given here along with the magnetic field intensity values. If you can see, magnetic field intensity is along the A phi cap, along the azimuth angle only. Okay, that is the path, right? This path is along the azimuthal path. So the same is plotted as a graph, taking a radius along the x-axis and magnetic field intensity along the y-axis. So if you see initially, it is linearly increasing, right? With respect to the rho, it is linearly increasing. Then what happens? And it is, see, the rho is here direct proportion, here it is inverse proportion. So it is decreasing, and here also it is inversely proportion. So again decreasing beyond that region. I hope you understood how to apply the Ampere's law to find the magnetic field intensity for infinitely long coaxial transmission line.